Welcome to The Fight with Teddy Atlas, presented by Dynamic Striking. I'm Ken Rideout, joined as always by the voice of combat sports and my good friend, the legend Teddy Atlas. Today's fight plan is brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Check them out at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code ATLAS, A-T-L-A-S, for a 50% credit on your first deposit. That's mybookie.ag. Use promo code ATLAS. We're here in Lower Manhattan at the Trinity Boxing Club to bring you the fight plan for Stephen Fulton versus the monster, Naoya Inoue. Teddy, I'm dying to get your thoughts on this. Can Stephen Fulton pull off a miracle here and get one over on Inoue?
Well, for me, what this fight really gives the fans is a peek back into the future. You know, you've seen those movies, Back into the Future, where what would it have looked like if Pacquiao and Mayweather, the just monstrous fight that everybody was waiting for, had happened 5 years earlier? I mean, so many of the fans out there, I'm sure that would have been on their wish list. Could it have happened when they were in their prime? They're going to get a little bit of an idea of maybe what would have happened, because you have the great offensive skills, just like you did with Pacquiao, of Inoue, versus the great defensive and counterpunching skills of Fulton. Very similar, and well, not quite up to, nobody's quite up to the defensive master that Mayweather was, but along those lines. Those are the styles you're going to get. You're going to get a chance to figure out, okay, in their prime, does defense beat offense? And that's, for me, that's, I mean, you couldn't ask for more than that. So let's not wait another 5 years. Let's not wait another 5 minutes. Let's go in there and let's answer that question. What do you say?
Let's do this.
You better move your head. You better move your head. You better keep those elbows in too, because when a guy moves his head, you go to the body. Let's go.
All right, Teddy, Naoya Inoue versus Stephen Fulton. This is going to be a good one. What does Naoya Inoue have to do to get over on Stephen Fulton?
Well, the monster. And he is a bit of a monster, undefeated. He's won titles at what, 3 different weight classes now, 2 or 3. He's a god over in Japan, and he's on my pound for pound, probably top 3 list for pound fighters. But against Fulton, he's gonna have to do what he normally likes to do: bring the pressure, steady, consistent, and break down with that pressure over rounds. It's not going to be a quick one, I don't think. Over rounds, he's going to have to break down. You know, pressure breaks pipes. I always say that. It breaks people. And he's going to have to wear down the very clever, the very tricky, defensive-minded Fulton, who's also a very good counterpuncher. And he's going to have to go here. So you did your sit-ups. He's going to have to go there. Put water in the basement, as I would always say when I was calling the fights on ESPN. Because the head may move, and Fulton's head moves, but the body don't. It's right there. So if you bang the body, you start to paralyze the head. And then, in a way, can be the monster and get what he wants. So one of the things that I noticed on tape, Fulton's going to try to keep separation. He's going to try to box, use his legs a little bit. He's not a runner. He's a slick guy, but he'll step off, move off a little bit, move his head, counter. But at some point, he's going to have to engage in a way on the inside. It's going to come to some point. The pressure will force that to happen. And he's not a bad inside fighter, Fulton. So he may think, I can hang with him a little bit. You know, it might be to his detriment, but a fighter who's undefeated also doesn't think that. He thinks, I'm going to get my way. And on the inside, I noticed that sometimes Fulton will leave himself open because he'll look to tie up. He's a defensive-minded fighter. What do defensive fighters do? They move their head, they use their legs a little bit, they counterpunch a little bit, but they also grab a little bit to keep the other guy's offense stagnant. And I think it would probably be a smart move. I mean, we just saw Plant do it. He did it a little too much, but the referee let him get away with it against Benavidez, but it kept him in the fight. It allowed him to go rounds. I think that part of the plan for Fulton will be to grab a little bit on the inside. And that's where, if Inoue did his homework and his people did their homework, that's where you can have a big opportunity, where they're both orthodox, where I notice Fulton sometimes after he punches, and sometimes just when he gets close, he'll go to grab. And when you go to grab, you shouldn't do it with a little space, because when you do it with space, you leave an opening. So I think he'll look to grab a little bit. If Inoue just kind of gives him enough rope to hang himself, so to speak, takes a little step back, make him bang, bang, bang. He leaves the opening, close it, fill it with punches. And the uppercut might be a real good choice, because he throws a good uppercut in a way, and Fulton does lean a little bit. So again, you get close, he goes to grab, a little step back, bang, bang, bang. The uppercut, catch him leaning a little bit. There's an opening with the grab. Even after he punches, he may punch and then punch and then look to grab. Do it again. So he may punch, and then bang, bang. Same thing. Again, if Inoue can do that, well, you remember those Godzilla movies, right? Yeah. What usually happens? Godzilla usually eats something, destroys something. That could happen.
All right, so Naoya can catch Fulton reaching. What else can he do?
He's a really good short puncher. I mean, the monster hasn't won titles in 2 or 3 different weight classes and stayed undefeated without being technically sound, not just a good puncher. So he's a pretty good short puncher. And here's the thing. Fulton, although he's got to live on the outside if he wants to win this fight, again, he's undefeated. He's got confidence. He behaves like a fighter. He's going to engage at some point on the inside. He will. At some point, he'll engage in there. And Fulton throws a pretty good left hook on the inside. And I'm sure he feels good about it. But I'm sure that Inoue feels good that he can time it. See, Fulton, if you broke it down, Fulton's probably got the advantage in speed. Probably a little faster with his hands. But timing negates speed. Never forget that. So, Inoue, when Fulton, your Fulton, obviously, I'm going to be Inoue, where when he throws that left hook that he feels really good about, he better make sure that it's not right in front. He better make sure his head's over here a little bit. Because if it's right in front, which it may be, Inoue, who's very calm on the inside, which fighters have to be, will throw his short right hand, boom, right inside it. He starts that, bang, right inside. And that's all it takes, just a short punch. And remember, it's the ones you don't see that do the most damage. And again, it'll be like a retake of Godzilla destroys the city or destroys part of it. Unfortunately, Fulton might be in that part.
All right, Teddy, we talked about what the monster has to do to win. What can Stephen Fulton do to beat Godzilla in this fight?
Got to fight a very consistent fight. A lot of times in this game, you can make mistakes. The great ones do it. And you overcome the mistakes. That's part of being great. But when you're in there with a puncher, an undefeated fighter, a champion with the kind of confidence and the power that Inoue has, it's not just his power, it's his accuracy. He doesn't waste anything. He doesn't miss a lot. One of his strengths is he's always in position with his feet, with his legs, where he's always in the right place to throw the right punch. So you're going to have to be really on your P's and Q's all night long from a defensive standpoint and be able to find a way to create enough offense to hold him, to make him respect you, to keep the tide from just crashing to the shore, so to speak. So there is always hope. I mean, Fulton is undefeated too. If they did their homework, if they looked at the tape, they may have seen a flaw. Everyone's got flaws. Nobody's perfect, even you. Got a few somewhere. We'll figure it out. Where they make a mistake. And I noticed on tape one of the flaws that to this point in his career, Inoue has gotten away with it. But there's always a first where you don't get away with it. What he does is, when a punch is coming at you, you should either block it, use your legs to get out of range, right? There's 3 lines of defense. Blocking, using your legs to get out of range, or moving your head. I mean, that's pretty much the right way. There's been fighters that have done it the wrong way, like Roy Jones, Muhammad Ali. There's not too many of them. That they got away with doing it wrong and made it right. But sooner or later, you usually pay for those mistakes, those technical mistakes. And I noticed that Inoue, what he'll do this from his waist. He'll pull back. He'll pull back to make you miss a jab. Yeah. He gets away with it. He'll pull back to make you miss a hook. Yeah. So, if Fulton did his homework and his trainers did their homework, what he'll do is he'll put him in space. He'll try to put him into that vulnerable place just for a split second and take advantage of it. If I was advising him, the thing I would do is I'd give just a little feint, get him to step right in real quick, because you're not going to get too many chances. He's vulnerable. He's not in position to punch. So again, get up, boom, get up, step right in, step, punch. Punch and step. Don't reach in, just step, boom, step and punch. If he does that, well, Godzilla don't lose too often, but you never know.
All right, Teddy. What else can Stephen Fulton do to catch the monster slipping?
Starts with homework again. If he did his homework, you watched. You always want to know the habits of your opponent. I mean, the football teams want to know, the baseball team want to know what pitch the pitch is going to throw in certain situation. You know, like I said, the football wants to know that they're down in the goal line. What are they going to go to? What kind of plays are going to be? Is it going to be play action? Is it going to be right up the gut? What's it going to be? No different. In boxing, you should know tendencies. And if you did your homework, one of the tendencies of the champion, in a way, yeah, he's good offensively and he's responsible defensively. He moves his head. But I noticed that 95% of the time when he moves his head, he stops on the right side. On the right side, all the time. You know what that's called? Predictability. When you're predictable, there's hope for the other guy to take advantage of that. And especially with the right hand. So there's a problem with laying on your right. See, I'll do it first. If I lay on my right side, I'm in the lane of the right hand. You want to finish on the left side, where you're outside the right hand, not on the right side. So I noticed that he'll move his head, he'll go, whoa, 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 and he'll stop there, on the right side. Thank you. Because I want this guy to hit you on the freaking chin. So he'll stop right there, right in the alleyway of the right hand. He should stop here, outside the right hand. So, if you phone and your people did their job, you notice that? Use a throwaway jab. Sometimes you throw punches away just to set up another punch. It's not even meant to land. It's just a throwaway jab. I'm right! And you don't even finish. You come right with the right hand. You just suck. Right! You get him over in that position, you land the right hand. And what do? You give Godzilla an L. The monster. All monsters get defeated sooner or later. Well,
that's it.
At least on TV they do.
That's right.
We'll find out.
All right, Teddy. For our friends at MyBookie, guys, if you're going to bet on the fight, please go to MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code ATLAS for a 50% credit on your first deposit. That's ATLAS, ATLAS. The line for the Fulton Inoue fight is minus 280 on Inoue, plus 200 on Stephen Fulton. Teddy, who do you like?
It's hard to bet against Inoue. It really is. Not that I want to lay that, not much wood. But if I had to, I'm not betting against him. I'm not going to. I think one of the things that Fulton has going for him is that obviously we've touched on it. He's a good defensive fighter. He knows how to go rounds. He's undefeated. He's confident. And he's the naturally bigger guy, so he's got a couple of things going for him. But I think the constant pressure of Inoue and the body work will be the difference at the end of the day. Not too many guys go the distance with Inoue. If somebody does, it'll be a defensive whiz like this. Again, if I had to bet, I go and I'll lay a little bit. I'll go with Inoue. What's the under-over?
So the over-under, it is minus 125 that it goes the distance, even money that it ends in stoppage before the final bell.
Those bookmakers aren't that stupid. They know what I just talked about, that he's a good defensive fighter and he's a bigger guy. And if anyone's going to go the distance with Inoue at this junction of his career right now, when Inoue's been stopping a lot of guys, it's going to be him. I would take a little bit of a play. You get something back if you say it's going to get stopped, right?
Even money.
Yeah, even money. I'm gonna put probably a small play that it's gonna get stopped. Just to protect myself.
Yeah.
On the first bet that I got in a way that in case I'm laying that kind of money, he gets upset. I'll put a backup that somebody gets stopped.
Yeah.
If it's somebody, most likely you would think that would be Fulton, but you never know. He's not a huge puncher, so it probably would be Inoue doing the stopping. But I'd put a little bet on the under, that the pressure will get to him, the body work will get to him, and like I said, reasonable, smart bet. Bet with what you have, not with what you don't have.
Uh-huh.
We're not telling you to go crazy. That's about it.
There you have it. Check them out. mybookie.ag. Use the promo code ATLAS. Good luck.